Hi, and welcome to another episode of Kuntarkis. My name is Michael Yon, and this episode is titled Readings with Kuntarkis, because among his services, he's not only an author and a speaker, he is a advisor, a intuitive consultant. He gives consultations, he gives readings, of which I've experienced many and I highly recommend. This episode starts with Kuntarkis talking about awakening with thought consciousness, and then follows on with details about the different readings he offers.
We are so much more. And that's why in my book I created the outer energy fields so people could say, oh wow, is that what we're made up of?
I see, like your auras.
Yeah, the auras, the energy. That's right. We have this energy, we have this soul, we have this spirit, we have this mind factor that's within us and around us constantly in every moment of every breath. And it's when we open our vision by thought consciousness and truly believe, we not only start to gain more knowledge, we start to gain more sight, more smell, more understanding. And that's the difference. But it takes work, it takes effort. And in today's type of society, we are so caught up in our world of illusion that we believe that we're this logical person, money's our God, and as long as we're having fun and we look good physically, nothing's wrong because we're invincible. But the point is, we are invincible, but not physically. We all die physically. We all transform. And most of us come back, if not one or two or three or four, several hundred times before we get it right. That's the hard part.
It's so easy to get caught up in the physical life. And you're not saying, like, to instead of getting caught up in the physical life, to get caught up in your head or some kind of like airy-fairy way. It's the way that you... What is it? It's the way that you engage in life and the way that you...
Exactly. It's the way you think. Your thought power is very, very important to your evolution as a being of living energy. Your thought consciousness can only evolve if you allow it. But at the moment on planet Earth, most of humanity are caught up in the belief systems, the conditioning, the fear, the control.
The day-to-day.
Absolutely. And they go home, they're exhausted, they lay down on the sofa, they watch a bit of TV, they drink wine or beer or eat bad food all the time. They go to bed, they have really bad sleeps, they have rotten dreams. They wake up feeling negative, feeling frustrated, feeling angry. They go to work, and this goes on every day of their life. And they never become conscious of it until it's too late. So soul readings, if you want to look at it, or any form of reading, is to awaken that individual's inner self. Just like you. You're awakening. And that's what's important. Because your thought consciousness will develop as you think and change. And in your next life, it'll be higher and better if you deal with what is in your life now.
What follows is Kuntarkis sharing the details of his consultations.
I have a little saying, and I say this to most people. I am the power of my life. And then I ask him, are you? The following is a list of consultations I do and have been for over 40 years of my life as a human being on this planet Earth. Whichever services you choose, all costs are the same, worked on an hourly rate. Once you go over the hour, the cost to you as a client decreases. For all the services, I ask the client to always write down any questions that they wish to ask, as this is very important. I also recommend my new book, called the Book of Knowledge, I Am Alien. You may find your answers within it, as there are over 400 questions and answers from all around the world. Connecting with clients, what I have discovered, can sometimes be a little difficult, so I make these suggestions. 1. By mobile. 2. Skype, audio only. 3. In person, depending on locations. Now the list of services and cost factors. 1. Personal spiritual readings, soul readings. 2. Learn to harness your real imagination. Imagination is not just a word. It's a gift. 3. Letting go of your old beliefs and conditioning. Sometimes making change is very hard. 4. The art of meditation for inner vision, relaxation, stress reduction. 5. Personal motivation, coach, mentor, self-empowerment. 7. Learning to release the inner power to enhance your overall life. 8. Understanding your thoughts and how they create your whole life. 9. Learning to use your dreams to create wealth, happiness, joy, and love. 10. Relationships, self and others. 11. Understanding emotions, trauma, and human disease, and why we created so much. 12. Natural healing in mind, body, spirit, and soul, which brings back the balance of life. For all inquiries, please ring or email me, Kuntarkis. Email kuntarkis@gmail.com, kuntarkis@gmail.com. My mobile 0439 686 736. For overseas, +61 for Australia. Please leave a detailed message with your phone number so I can return your call. Website www.etconsciousness.com. New website www.thedreamassassin.com. Now for my podcast interviews by Michael Yon, https://Kuntarkis, KUNTARKIS.buzzsprout, BUZZSPROUT.com. And please note, I run personal spiritual development sessions which run for a 3-hour period on a 1-to-1 basis. Cost on inquiries for 3 hours for PSDS. Kind regards, Kuntarkis, ETC Director, Published Author, Writer, Film Scripts, Seminar Presenter, Public Speaker, Life Coach, Speaker for Hire, Events, Mentor. I can help you, the individual, overcome anything, as long as you are willing to take personal responsibility for yourself, and as long as you are willing to look at yourself from an honest heart and with an open mind. Thank you, Kuntarkis.
Yes, thank you, Kuntarkis, for sharing that. And I want to take this opportunity to say I've had what I would call several personal consultations with you over many years, since 2005. And I recommend them, oh my gosh, because just like catching up in like where you are in life, and I mean where you are personally and what you're going through, Kuntarkis can be asked practically any question, and within some amount of time an answer can be there. This has made having personal consultations with you, Kuntarkis, literally the most exciting, thrilling, and uplifting times of my life, especially when we did it in Harndorf. I would come up to your place and we would sit on a table end to end. We would talk and I'd have my little dictaphone recording, and I just loved it. I'd have the questions set up, and it was just the best.
Do you know, I really appreciate, Michael, your kindness, and what makes me feel good and balanced is when I look into the eyes of the one I'm doing a consultation for. I can see that they are experiencing an opening. And that opening is to more awareness. And in those cases, most of us as humans on this planet never ever get the opportunity to understand that we can change. A lot of us live to stress, drama, anger, violence every day of our life. And we don't know how to change that. That's why I enjoy doing what I do, especially when it comes to seminars.
Seminars for sure. Yeah, I trust that's a big part of our future.
It can be, yes. As I said to you, one of the big ones that I want to do is the art of self-rejuvenation. The second one, well, that's a real tender subject, and it's a subject that will open people's eyes beyond their imagination, and that's called life after physical death. Because there is life after physical death, and there's more life than we could ever imagine beyond this body.
Yeah, life after physical death. Wow, I think that would be very enlightening for many people, because I've learnt this off of you already, but there's so many potentials when a person dies and what happens to their spirit that I'm really keen for that seminar, and also doing it as a podcast, right?
Absolutely, we are.
Excellent.
And the thing about life beyond this life, Michael, is there is a universe out there that is infinite, and human beings have the ability, if they learn how to do it, to travel that infinity just by thought consciousness.
While they're alive.
While they're alive. They can lay their body down and go into a sleep and create another body within the astral vibration or higher realms. And they can travel wherever their thought consciousness wants to take them. And that's why we, as a species, experience dreams. We think, most of us, we think they're simply dreams, but they're not. They are actual reality. We are experiencing whatever we did through that day, whatever it may be. And a lot of the times we end up dreaming it. And a lot of the times we have really restless and negative dreams. And that's because we're living in a world that's negative, and we're not even aware of it. And that's what's sad.
Sure. I want to maybe bring up the topic of, like, I would come to you for consultations because I knew, however you want to call it, like there's a psychic nature to you, there's a clairvoyant nature to you that's very high frequency. I thought I'd ask you in this episode, can you express to us what it's like for you to experience some intuition when someone asks you a question? How do you find the right truth and not get muddled up in the energies?
Okay. One of the things, Michael, I did a very long time ago when I arrived on Earth, I sat on a rock down a Greenmount and I asked myself this question: what am I really feeling inside? Why do I get a sense of feeling that there is something inside of my being that wants to burst out? And what I discovered, the answer was knowledge. I have allowed myself to open up a doorway to infinite knowledge. That's why I can do what I do. And when I'm talking to someone and I'm finding out some specific thing for that person, I feel this energy right throughout my body, buzzing. And I know that that is the truth, because that's my higher consciousness. And I express it.
And you've done this for decades.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
So yeah, I came to understand early on when I was having consultations with you, Kuntarkis, that yeah, you said you had access to what they call the Akashic records, and that's connected with your knowing, isn't it?
That is true. But remember, the word Acacia Records is a man-made word. It's from the past, right? The Acacia Records, if you want to use that terminology, is based within our very essence. It's like saying it's within our domain, because we are the universe. We look like this stump on legs walking around living a life of physical matter. But in reality, we have so many different world vibrations that most are not even aware of. And that's why we become so dense in our bodies, because we have lost the connection of our higher self, our true self, our infinite self, the light of who we are. And light as light exists because in the beginning there was one cellular structure that became light, that lit up. It never asked a question, it just lit up in that moment. And from that point, hundreds of trillions of other cellular forms ignited in light, and consciousness began to evolve. Planets began to be created. Life on all planets began to manifest through consciousness. And all this energy, this living energy, has been around since the dawn of time. Like the universe constantly expanding. It's like a pinhead. And you look at that pinhead and all you see is that tiny little pinhead. But over billions of years, it literally expands like in a circle, pushing outwardly, growing. And that is actually consciousness growing within itself.
Wow, so you're saying that the universe started literally at the size of smaller than a pinhead and it expanded out.
It was microscopic.
Wow, and expanded out because of consciousness.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Consciousness never existed until this one speck in the entire universal space, infinite space, actually became light. And it was just one cell that lit as a speck of light. Others were attracted to it and joined, like a virus you see under a microscope, how they move towards something else and join within it. That's what a cellular cell does. It goes to whatever it feels is right. And when it joins, it becomes a bigger light, a bigger light, a bigger light. And that's how the universe, all universes began.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Kuntarkis, for sharing with us the opportunity for people to contact you and have a consultation. You are a great advisor, I will say, with much experience. So, any final words?
All I can say is change is bliss. And if you are willing to change, bliss will follow you.
Wow, that's beautiful. Thank you, Kuntarkis.
You're very welcome, Michael. Thank you so much for your time.
In closing, I'll just say, if you have any questions, simply write to kuntarkis@gmail.com. Also, searching Kuntarkis online will lead you to a number of places, including etcconsciousness.com, which has more information about him. Thanks for listening. My name is Michael Yon. Catch you next time.